Now that we've established the basic principles of influence, let's turn our attention to the requirements for influence. I'll discuss three areas: substance, structure, and style. Let's begin with substance and structure. As leaders, there are certain subject areas that command an audience's attention and provide opportunities to be influential. Put simply, we expect leaders to talk about particular topics. There is a leadership communication paradigm, and I would argue that vision, finances, and organizational change are among the most important content areas a leader can communicate. Researchers have known for years that one of the attributes followers look for in leaders is forward thinking or vision. Most employees are so caught up in day to day activities, they appreciate when their leaders speak about the future and their vision of it. Further, we're interested in numbers, the financial situation of the organization. Explaining an organization's financial performance will engage an audience. From board members to frontline employees, everyone wants to know how the organization is doing financially and what it means to stakeholders in the short term and long term. Employees also pay close attention to information regarding organizational and hierarchical changes. They seek answers to questions related to how business units are constructed and how reporting relationships are affected. Once you have a subject area, how do you select specific content? If there's one practice that defines the Tepper brand of communication instruction, it is being audience-centered. Rich Young's award-winning book, Persuasive Communication, gives us the model for audience-centered communication. We increase the likelihood of being persuasive when we can identify the decision schema of our audience and we concisely address the questions that come from that schema. Professor Young tells us that we should view an audience's decision schema through the lens of the decision we are asking an audience to make. Let's consider an example. If, as a leader, you would like your team to use a new computer software program, you would be asking your audience to make a usage decision. The questions we can assume an audience would have regarding possibly using new software would include: what value would I realize that I don't currently derive from other computer programs? Is there a cost? Is it easy to learn and implement? Is there a backup plan if it doesn't work? Are others using it, and are they satisfied that it does what they expected it to do? Our ability to influence our audience will be determined in part by how concisely and completely we address those key questions that reflect the audience's decision criteria. Even if we have the right substance to share with an audience, we need to structure it appropriately to be influential. Hence, structure is the second requirement for influence. There are many guides for structuring content to ensure a persuasive outcome. The model I prefer to teach and use is called the Monroe Motivated Sequence. It's withstood the test of time and is as relevant today as it was when Alan Monroe developed it at Purdue University in the 1930s. It is a 5-step communication model based on research regarding human reasoning. The 5 steps are attention, need, satisfaction, visualization, and action. The model is an effective persuasive communication structure for both oral and written communication. Let's discuss the Monroe sequence by considering an oversight decision. Let's assume you're making a strategy recommendation to your board of directors. You are asking them to make an oversight decision as the governing body of your organization. More specifically, you want them to approve your strategic proposal. As a first step, You may seek to gain the attention of your board by using statistics and examples that the board may or may not be familiar with. Ideally, your evidence is compelling and the board will engage. Next, you explain the significance of the problem and the danger to the organization if the problem is not addressed as quickly as possible. There's a need for immediate action. Fortunately, your strategic proposal will address the problem, satisfy the need, and position the organization for a profitable future. In addition to providing specifics regarding your proposal, you can enhance your authority if you acknowledge that there are other strategic paths, and your proposal, like others, has potential risk. To be most persuasive, however, you must point out how your recommendation is superior to other approaches. The fourth step is often overlooked, but I would argue is essential. Take the audience on a journey into the future. Help them visualize what the organization will be like with your strategy in place and the needs satisfied. If you believe the board is not leaning toward your solution, you may want to visualize the future without the implementation of your strategy. This would be the loss scenario we discussed earlier. Emphasize what the organization stands to lose if your proposal is not approved. The final step is a call to action. Too often the ask is not clear. In our oversight example, you want the board to clearly understand what you want from them, what you want them to do with your information. You need something from them to move forward. At the very least, you're hoping for a thumbs up for your proposal.